Combat Tested Gaming is the VFW's official gaming community, made exclusively for veterans and active duty service members. Connect with other veteran gamers, compete in leagues, and more. Learn more and get involved at vfw.org/gaming.
You know, this is one of the few times in which we're able to connect not only with our VFW headquarters, but also those in the hinterlands, so via, the internet. So I'm going to go toss it over to my co-host, Brittany. Brittany, why don't you tell us who we have online joining us today?
Certainly. So yeah, I'm super psyched today because like you mentioned, we haven't had many guests from our Kansas City office and or any of the many other programs that VFW has. So today we have 3 gentlemen with us who run an awesome newer program of VFW called Combat Tested Gaming. So first and foremost, we have Lynn Rolfe, who's the director of VFW programs, and he works out of our Kansas City office, and he does magic all the time. I don't know how he does it. And then with him, we have Tim Stalker and Rob Cottle, and they host the VFW's Combat Tested Gaming podcast. So super thrilled to have you gentlemen with us today. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So to start us off, Lynn, Combat Tested Gaming is a newer initiative of VFW's, and I was wondering if you could give our listeners a brief overview of what that is.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Brittany, and our great DC team. So 2.5 years ago, our Commander-in-Chief, Dwayne Sarmiento, challenged myself to set up a gaming league because the son was over in Japan gaming with the Marine Corps, and it's kind of how he connected with friends and family. So I took the challenge on and started diving into the gaming world, esports, everything that was associated with gaming, and my mind was blown away. There was a whole community out there of veterans that were gaming and connecting. So when I started the league, came across Discord and Twitch and said, we need to get into this space. So got approval from our national council to start the program and expand, not just having one tournament to connect vets, which we had done in the past, but since then, in 2.5 years, we've exploded to just about 3,000 vets that are on here consistently gaming and connecting, which is the most important piece with our Combat Tested Gaming program, is the connections that have been built across the world. And you'll hear from, and I call them my 2 knotheads, and it's a serious term of endearment because my gunner and my driver in Iraq, they were my knotheads, and these 2 have quickly slipped in because of their passion of what they're doing, not just in the gaming space, but to expand our network through the podcast that we just launched, and their personal stories of how they came to us, their struggles, and what this community has built. I want to give a shout out though to Mike Figlioli, because the first Christmas time, we launched in September, right there around the holidays. We always hear it, veteran struggle, a lot of pressures, either socioeconomic or just some things happen. And we had a young Navy veteran that was an MST coordinator or MST survivor, and he was getting treated very badly at a VA regional facility. And I reached out to Mike, and Mike stepped in with his connections through NBS, and we were able to get this young Navy man the assistance that he needed, because he was right there. He was going to make that decision. He was done. He was frustrated. VA just kept blowing him off for being a male rape victim, which they did not believe his story. So without Mike, that Navy seaman would not be here. And that was our first interaction with how gaming and the camaraderie within this community can save lives. So now we've expanded. We've got the auxiliary on board. We've got this podcast, and every day we're growing, and it's really exciting to see this future because 3.3 billion people play video games 16 to 20 hours a week. So we've got to be there where these veterans need help, and our MBS service officers that are on daily answering questions from the rumors that are out there about claim sharks, everything that we're doing legislatively. Our service officers are able to step in and give them accurate and very timely information. So our community is a step above a lot of other veteran organization gaming that does not have those resources and the subject matter experts to deal with benefits. So,
Lynn, I think that's a fantastic initiative that you took. Mike, what was your role again? I mean, he's given you a lot of props here. What's your thoughts on how this combat tested gaming has worked out and your contributions, especially NVS's contributions to the gaming community?
Well, I won't say it was minor for us. First off, thank you, Lynn. You're the one that was the driver to put this all together and make it what it is today. I'm not a gamer, so when I hear things that you've expanded on and what the community is, and I hear it from, Keith Garrison, who's been working with you, providing information. So Lynn brought me this problem about this veteran that was basically being ignored by the VA. And I reached out directly to the hospital director and said, you don't not want me to bring the weight of the VFW down upon you. Please make sure you reach out to this veteran because he's being mistreated by your staff, and let's get him some help. And the director did do that. He reached out directly to the veteran with his staff, got him into the therapies he needed. We were able to help with his VA needs because that was another issue he was having that was causing other problems. As we know, the mystery that benefits can be when you don't understand or don't have good counsel. And what I learned from that was Keith has been immersed in this now since it's been started. He gets on in games once a week or maybe twice a week. I don't know how often he does it. Yeah. But while he's enjoying himself gaming, he's also answering questions about the VA, questions about disability benefits, questions about claim sharks, directing people to resources to get their benefits, directing people to mental health care if they need it.
Yeah.
So,
in some ways, this is the way the VFW has always done it. It's just in a different medium now that people are connecting in the gaming community. I mean, this is what our organization does. When veterans need help, they're looking to whatever community it is that they participate in for that credible help. And it's really powerful that VFW has accredited reps who not only are part of the gaming community, but then are willing to be there online to provide credible answers.
Well, it's after hours, right? Keith has already worked a day, and this is part of his relaxation. And he's right back to work. But Ryan, you said it. I think Rob, you said it. It's not something that I do.
Yeah.
But yes, we have to meet the veterans where they are, and we're doing that. And through Lynn's efforts and what he's developed, I've learned about this full existing community that we otherwise may not have been able to help through traditional means.
I tell you what, I have not been any kind of gamer since I was playing, Street Fighter
Pong.
2 or whatever it was, back in the 90s.
1974.
And maybe the late 90s when I was in Korea. We were a little bored in the barracks, back then. But hey, so it's really interesting because we're talking about, connecting with veterans where they are. And to me, like not really knowing, and Brittany, like you talk about being a technology noob, that's me for sure. My son has to educate me on all this stuff now. But I'm so focused in the controls, I don't even understand how those things can take place at the same time. So I'm going to kick it over to you guys over there on the podcast and talk a little bit about Discord and talk a little bit about Twitch and how it is that you guys are able to connect with veterans while you're gaming.
Great question, Rob.
Stalker, if you want to touch Twitch, I'll hit that Discord. It's up to you.
Yeah. I've used gaming as a decompression tool since Iraq in 2007. I was an 11 Bravo, and when you're going 15 months and you're spending your days and nights basically kicking indoors, you got to have something that brings you down, something that kind of brings you back. And a lot of us, we connected that way. And then once we got back, I mean, we get on the 360 and, you know, you play Call of Duty, and at that time it was Justin TV, and you'd see all these other gamers on there, and then you see veterans. And like at the time I was stationed at Fort Campbell. Next thing you know, I'm playing with a guy from Fort Riley. I got another guy that was, all the way up in 10th Mountain, and and we've been playing ever since. So, gaming was just a way for us to like decompress, and it's nice to have those other members that you can decompress with. People that have been in the situations that you've been in, and you can kind of tell award stories or some of the ridiculous things that we've done. And you just have that camaraderie, just like come together, and you can be on the opposite sides of the country. There's some that are even still deployed that, you can end up linking up with. So with Twitch, it's been very easy to link up. Like we literally linked up with a dude that was streaming at the time who was a commander in the United States Marine Corps. And we just started playing a game, and now he's joined up with us at Combat Tested Gaming. So it's the outreach is there. And a lot of times these guys, this is what they look forward to. They look forward to gaming, and it's even better when they can find other veterans or active duty that are still with us. So it has definitely been a blessing just to have the little bit of technology that we got can go so far to just kind of connect with other people. So
Heck yeah. And, when I was in Korea, y'all haven't heard this story yet, but when I was in Korea, I had my entire shop. I was the lowest ranked person there, and they made me the guild master in World of Warcraft. As soon as it came out, it was vanilla. My entire shop, chief warrant officers included, were participating. My NCOs, everybody was playing. We were going in, hitting up dungeons and all kind of stuff as groups. It was our way to kind of decompress, as that seems to be the word that we're using quite frequently when we're talking about combat tested gaming and how it's a tool for many veterans. In Iraq, we had Cat 5 cable going in our sleeping areas, from sleeping area to sleeping area, just so we could play. Like, I think it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And I mean, it was an amazing opportunity, a tool. I mean, we were getting work, the mission first, and you have to prioritize that. Well, when you're able to decompress and not think about it, that's such a good relief. In the Discord, though, getting to that, we see people. I've used it and said, "Hey, this appears to be like how a canteen operates, minus the alcohol." You have people who come into this morning coffee and afternoon chat. That's what we called it, and literally that channel is hopping and popping, as they say, 24/7. There seems to always be somebody in there, and if there's not, jump in 5 minutes or so. Somebody will be in there, and you'll have somebody talking to you, and it's really cool. That in itself is a nice resource. But let's say that you have a veteran who doesn't show his face for a couple of days. You're starting to worry, where's this person at? And then you find out, oh, well, this person actually, they were doing their hospital work, or they had this going on, or whatever. The specific person that comes to my mind when we talk about the different people who are coming into, especially the people who might know this or listen to this podcast that are already comrades, are going to know this individual very well. But we have Alan Perkins from the Department of Texas, who comes in, 79 years old, comes in every day, has a cup of coffee with us, and hangs out with us every single day. Doesn't play a video game necessarily, but comes in and enjoys the camaraderie every single day. So having
Wow.
that is just, yeah, it's you're seeing new veterans come in every day and they keep coming back. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool, and we're killing it.
I'm I'm blown away, guys, because it's so hard. It can be so hard after service to find common ground, people that you have common ground with, people who you identify with, and can build community with after service. And what I didn't realize is how deep this goes. And what I mean by that is, not only are you spanning generations of veterans. Did you say that guy is 97? Did I hear you correctly?
No,
79.
79.
79, sorry. Maybe I'm a little dyslexic, but
6'7".
Yeah, he was in Vietnam. He was not in World War One.
he was not in World War I or II. I guess that means more World War II time frame. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, though, that's incredible because you have folks that are approaching 80 and others who are probably in their 20s who are still on active duty. So
We have a private who gets on every day.
every day.
Every day.
So the experience spans decades among the people who are signing in and participating on a regular basis or semi-regular basis. So not only are you finding camaraderie as their camaraderie building among veterans, but you also have this sort of mentorship element to it
Yes.
of the folks who are coming up through the ranks, who are still currently serving, which is really awesome. Because that's so helpful in so many ways. That shows them, that there's, I imagine, that there's
People there for
there's-
you when you get out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are people there who are going to you're going to be able to identify with, connect with, build, positive relationships after service as people are trying to rebuild those communities. And because we know that, your duty stations are everything, that your duty stations become your family, especially if you're overseas, if you're, whether you're on deployment or stationed at an overseas location. Like I was in Japan. It was so expensive to go home. Like it was, especially as an E3, E4, I couldn't just go home like on a whim, like I couldn't afford it. And so those folks became my family. And after service, it's, it's also, it's challenging because you're not, now it's, you don't have a built-in family anymore.
Right.
And so I really just love what I'm hearing about what you've built, what you're building. And am I correct in saying that you two volunteer your time doing this?
100%.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, if you could tell by the thing on my hat, but I'm a cootie.
I
do a
thought that
lot
was a
of-
cootie.
Yeah, I do a lot of volunteering. Yeah, boo. But yeah, I do a lot of volunteering for the VFW. It's I'm very passionate about our organization, and it's always about veterans. And the one thing that really gets me behind this is I feel like this is the VFW's one big push to end the 22, and that right there is my motivation.
Yep. We focus so much on mental health because, like you said, when you're at your duty station, that's everything. When you come out of your duty station, I ended up getting 100% due to PTSD. I can't go anywhere. I can't go and find a job. I can't, just kind of spend my time. So where does that purpose go? Well, that purpose becomes a black cloud.
Right.
And then depends on, if you're by yourself, that cloud's going to get dark real quick. And so I've even found just volunteering my time and being, I've helped save, I think we're up to what is it? 8, Lynn? 8 confirmed people that we've helped out, that we've pulled from that brink. And it's like that was the purpose, because I literally would love to put 22 a day out of business.
Right.
And so, and it's getting, this younger generation, they have different struggles at the older eras. They kind of have an idea, but they don't really have a grasp on how we deal with it. And so when they finally see these soldiers of the younger generation come in and see, oh, these are people that are around my age group, they've been through it, they've handled it, and so they'll come to us and kind of help give them that sense of purpose to where they can focus their time with something else, and just having a conversation with somebody. Like, at least if you're in that spot, give me 13 minutes.
Right.
Because 13 minutes can change someone's day just like that, and you wouldn't even know it. So yeah, we're extremely passionate about helping those active, and especially making that transition. So
That is amazing. Thank you both. Oh, Ryan, go ahead. Sorry.
No, so Tim, you've said you've already said a lot, and I appreciate your honesty in talking about the gaming community and how it's helped you, because something strikes me with how veterans are engaging with the gaming community. First of all, it seems like a lot of this is task oriented. So if you're talking about gaming or a game that you like to play with one another or on teams, you're looking to accomplish a task. Now, to an onlooker, they may think, well, okay, it's a video game. Okay, but you're forming teams, you're forming bonds, you're working toward an objective, and that almost then invites the harder conversations. And whether that's happening in an online space or an in-person space, it's the same type of interaction. How do you see veterans engaging, or how long does it take to break down some of those barriers for veterans to then open up and start having real or deeper conversations about their struggles or their needs once the uniform comes off?
It really depends. I've noticed with me, it does not take long. I'm a pretty outgoing person, but I've also had to learn to push myself just to kind of bring myself out of my shell. And it'll help break down those barriers. Cause when you're playing games that have like objectives and stuff, especially with veterans, you know how our mouths get. We have our we have our jokes. We give each other
colorful words.
Very colorful words. And when you do that, we'll get on like that daily basis. And then once you kind of get to know somebody, you start to hear like the tone in their voice. Like they'll be like, I'm tired. Or the one I catch is, I'm all right. No, you're not. Hey brother, let's have a talk and, get it out of your system. A lot of times I just give them that opportunity to vent, and we can vent in a video game. You can blow out my eardrums about how angry you are about a certain situation. That right there is showing that trust that not only are we going to play a game together, but you literally have my six.
I'd like to add something there. So Ryan, you had mentioned that, video games, right? Well, it doesn't just stop there. We actually, I actually just set up, we have a post in Morganton, North Carolina that has a weekly community night where they bring in the community, and it's like a safe place for tabletop miniatures. They do like Warhammer 40K, Magic the Gathering, and some of these other board games. And they invite the community. There's several veterans that participate, but of course, when they open up the community, they're bringing in and showing patriotism and giving the opportunity for the VFW to show its good side. I really am impressed with how much support that you'll find. People get turned off when they hear video games because they go, oh, well, I don't play video games, or that doesn't apply to me. No, we just need you to be the medium to get that information out to that veteran that this place exists, right? But it doesn't just stop there, because it's not about video games either. It's about just coming together and having a community. That's what it's really about. And I can't explain it enough. It's almost like beating a dead horse when we go into these district meetings and we go into these department C of A's and we're explaining the program to people, and they just pause up and we go, look, I know this doesn't apply to you, but I guarantee there's somebody in your post. And the one thing that I tell people when they go in and they're explaining this, make sure you explain the program, because you never know. There might be a guy, the oldest guy in your post, sitting in the back, loves pulling them little Warhammer figurines out and painting them.
Mm-hmm.
You never know who it's going to be, who it's going to touch. And that's been the one thing in my experience in combat tested gaming. You see all the walks of life.
And really, there's something so intrinsic about the VFW to that. You know, when we're talking about training our service officers and things like that, we try to talk about, hey, you know, where can you find people who need help? And you start making all of these lists, and it's all the stereotypical things that you think of with the veterans community: military installations, National Guard units, gun shows. But then, really, the conclusion you have to draw is any place that people gather.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I had an epiphany just now, and that is...
Oh, that's dangerous.
Well, it is kind of dangerous.
Can you do that on camera?
But yeah, I think you can do it on camera. But anyway, my epiphany is this. When I was growing up, and many of you, if you grew up in the 70s and 80s, and you had friends, and I wasn't the kid that could afford to have an Atari, but I had a friend that had an Atari, right? And he would often play some of these games that were just one player. And when I would sit there and watch him play for hours. For hours. I would not play alongside with him because it's a one-player game. Or I just, he was way better than me. And you know what? Just being there with him and being next to him, it was great. We loved it. And, I was encouraging him. He was just, he was able to show off. I'm like, we're high-fiving each other when it gets past another level. And when you have this older gentleman, 79 years old, just getting on and hanging out with other veterans, I can imagine myself being there in the same space doing that, because I did it when I was a kid. And actually, I did it, when I was at Fort Irwin, California, as like a PFC, and we would play I think we played like Super Mario Brothers or Mario World, Mario Galaxy. I don't know what game it was back then. But you're playing I know what it was. It was Mario 64. And so you're playing Mario 64, and that's a one.
Come on.
Were you?
Anyway, named all the video games.
Yeah, I just named them all, the entire Mario series, and go see Mario Galaxy for Galaxy coming to theaters near you, right? I'm sorry, they're not paying me for that. But anyway, and I'd watch it, and we're just high-fiving, we're laughing, we're joking. And so it just dawned on me, because I didn't think like, oh man, how can I be online on, whether it's Twitch or Discord, and that might be something to talk about here as we get ready to wrap up. And Brittany, I think, was going to do that. But I just think I just thought of that when you talked about that 79-year-old, and it was just, wow. I think every veteran, even if you're not a gamer, you can get out there, get online, and just be with other veterans. You don't have to play. You can just be there with them.
You don't have to go to a post.
Right. You don't have to go to...
No.
That's even better. The veterans that are infirmed that can't get out, you can absolutely just go and be online and be with these other veterans.
Yeah,
But
people who are super rural veterans that don't have posts nearby.
Yep.
That's a big thing that I was thinking about. Rural veterans, period, who are looking for a community, support, new friends, what have you, people who get it.
Right. And
I love that.
One of them is, as we were talking mental health, depression will lock somebody down in their house harder than anything.
Yep.
And this is a tool that allows somebody who is locked down to actually reach out.
Yep.
So on that note, Lynn, did I hear you correctly before that this is a community of about 3,000 and growing? So
Yes.
What are you doing, Lynn, and then also Tim and Rob, and your efforts? I mean, it seems like you're a fantastic team pushing this program forward and growing it. How are you getting the word out to attract more veterans and service members?
Yeah, so really the next evolution right now, these two brought the idea of the podcast, and I was like, hey, go forward, just don't get my butt in trouble. I'll and I'm sure
Please.
the boss is watching now. I don't remember giving you approval, but I knew this was the right thing to do to get us out there and get us more exposure. But what we've done though is I've reached out to all the state commanders to get state chairman, push it down to district, push it down to the post that this program exists, and start building the VFW infrastructure. And my opportunity to educate state commanders and post commanders on, because unfortunately the first question is how much is it going to cost me. It's like, well, it's not going to cost you anything. Just get your bets, get your members in here. We'll connect, and then if these posts want to do something, like Denton, Texas, has built a phenomenal state-of-the-art facility. I've got 2 departments that are building gaming trailers now. We're actually going to host a high school combine down in Denton that these seniors are going to try out for gaming coaches at 5 universities across the Metroplex. The future is so bright for posts because we can help them with streaming. They can make money, donate to programs. They can set up VR lounge, which I've already told the VA, because I sit on the VA's gaming council, that the VFW will be the VR BSO experts, and thanks to great partners. So I'll let these 2 talk, but really my strategic goal is to get this down to the lowest level of the VFW so it can grow internally.
This past Tomb Trek, I was at Tomb Trek and I represented Combat Tested Gaming. I got up in front of the entire Supreme Scratch, which has all of the state commanders from all over the world. We had people in from Korea that were there, and I had a Meta headset, and I was able to demonstrate to all the Grand Commanders the significance of some of the programs that can go on this. And I was literally giving virtual honor flight after virtual honor flight after virtual honor flight with this MetaQuest headset. And just imagine what that can do in your nursing homes.
No way.
Yeah. And I did that at Supreme. So just imagine what I look at it as I'm tackling it, but from both sides, because you have the cooties and then you have the VFW, and they're kind of hitting it from both sides here. So to make sure that the information is getting to those veterans. And that's the thing that I preached to the guys at Supreme. I was like, look, I'm not asking you to come and play video games with me. That's the last thing I'm asking you. I'm asking you to do what cooties do best. And that's spread information. We want you to spread it like wildfire. We want you to make sure that these departments, and I want you to know that these programs are available.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I can't tell you. I appreciate it. Once I recently learned really about what it is that you do and the importance of gaming in the veteran community. Speaking with you has been an absolute pleasure. And I love that you were able to take the time to join us to talk about this today, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. And before we part, I'm wondering, Ryan, Mike, Rob, Tim, Lynn. We have 2 Robs. So, does anyone have any last thoughts they want to share?
Yeah, just again, thanks, Lynn, and thank you guys for what you do, especially expanding it. I mean, it's opened my eyes as a non-gamer to realize that this community is really impacting people that may not have been otherwise reached. And when you save 8 lives, 10, 12, whatever it might be. So thank you to all of you for your efforts, and we will continue to talk about it. Our service officers will continue to talk about it, and organizationally, I know we'll continue to talk about it. So thank you.
So that's really great. Tim, I was hoping maybe you can just tell us real quick where they can find you on Discord, where they can find you on Twitch, and where they can find your podcast.
Our podcast is called Waking Up with VFW's Combat Tested Gaming, which you can find that live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Combat Tested Gaming. We're also on RSS, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. That's where you can find our podcast. Our Discord is at discord.gg/combat-tested-gaming.
Excellent. All right. Well, hey, thanks, Tim, Rob, Lynn. Thank you guys for joining us here on the VFW podcast, and we're looking for great things. Keep up the good work, guys.